Good evening, everybody. Ooh, hold on. How's everybody doing tonight? There we go. All right, welcome to another edition of ILEETA Live, June 2025. Man, time is going fast. We are gearing up towards ILEETA 2026. Be here before you know it. So, want to welcome our all of our hosts here. Joe Willis and Duane Wolfe is being here. They were fortunate enough to head down to, where was it? Arkansas, Louisiana? New Orleans, yeah, somewhere down there. And they had a little chat with Coach, which we'll be having here shortly. But wanted to give you some ILEETA updates, what's going on behind the scenes and what's going on for the conference and where's everybody been at and what have they been doing. You know, Ray Merlin, our executive director, has been down in Mexico for a executive protection conference. Wonderful trip down there and made some great connections. Jill and Joe, they went to Ohio to a tactical association conference where they met some wonderful instructors and built some good relationships down there with them. And like I said at the beginning, Ray, Duane, and Joe went down to visit Coach. And Coach hasn't been to an ILEETA conference for a while, so a lot of the newer members probably don't know who Coach is. And he is a powerful speaker, and once he's talking, you can't hear a pin drop. So it will be Coach coming up here pretty soon, and I just can't say enough about the man there. Instructor proposals, we are on track with getting a whole bunch already submitted, and Joe, sounds like some good ones coming in.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm really excited about the ones that are coming in. And the folks I've talked to leading up to this point who are like, this is what I'm going to submit. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. There's still all of the process and all that, but we've got some really exciting stuff this year.
Looking forward to, and I know Joe's going to have a hard time again this year deciding, looking through those instructor proposals. So get those in. If you need some help working on them, reach out to any of the ILEETA staff members, advisory members, or people that have taught. Duane, he's a good resource. He can give you a hand there. Let's get those proposals submitted. Joe, talk to us about membership reminders.
Yeah, so the overall, there's right now, if you need to renew your membership, now is a great time to do it because conference registration, Brian will tell you here in just a minute about conference registration. So now's a great time to look into renewals. But also, we've had a big push lately. A lot of folks asking about bundle memberships. And a bundle membership, the way that works is if you are a member at an agency, and you've got several people who are trainers who need to be ILEETA members, but you need the ability to switch them out. It's a membership that essentially belongs to the agency. There's an administrator for it, and that administrator has the ability to call up Jenny Merlin at any time and say, hey, Joe Willis is no longer a member of our training staff. He's moved on to someplace else. Let's put Duane Wolfe in there now. And so it gives them the ability to do that. And it's just a great way to kind of spread that around the organization.
Great benefit. Sounds like Jill and Mary Grace are super busy with looking at some sponsors and getting them connected and back up at the conference, and probably maybe some new sponsors and vendors coming up.
Yeah, so definitely some potential new vendors. Actually, we've brought on a couple of new vendors over the last year, and then the corporate sponsorship that we would be lost without our corporate sponsors is both a professional organization because they contribute so much to our professional development when they come to the conference and the various ways they support us. But they are, the rule at ILEETA is if it's good for the members and we can afford to do it, we have to thank our corporate sponsors for making a lot of that stuff happen. They make so much of this possible by enabling these things. And so corporate sponsors are a big push right now where we're trying to expand that environment. There's a lot of organizations and agencies that could be and should be corporate sponsors. And it breaks my heart a little bit every time I hear this, but I hear it at agencies sometimes. I've never even heard of ILEETA. Of course we want to be involved, right? And so they're out there spreading the word on that. The other thing we're doing, and Brian, this may be a good segue to talk about Julie at Gateway and the luck she had with National University. Sponsors often give benefits to the association, to our members. And so sometimes, just reaching out to them and saying, hey, we still love you. Do you still love us? We have great conversations with our corporate sponsors. And then that's where things like this happen.
Absolutely. Julie
Escobar.
Yeah, she was able to save what, $10,000 on her doctoral tuition.
Yeah, phenomenal.
That's you hit it on the head. Phenomenal. So there's a tuition discount. It's just one of many benefits that ILEETA has. Also, as we get going, there's some Duane Willis does some get some people to the conference for out of his own pocket. So there's options to attend the conference, and those will be announced, I'm sure, later as we get going towards the end of the year. Hey, Duane, talk to us about the ILEETA Journal.
What would you like to know?
Well, all about it. Start at the very beginning.
Talk to us about writing for the ILEETA Journal, why it's important, and we got an upcoming deadline. But I think just hearing from somebody else about who's written for the journal is beneficial for the members.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, if you want to be a writer, it's a good place to start. It'll get your name out there. It'll get people to recognize your work. The other thing it'll do, it will also allow you to expose yourself, your thoughts, your ideas, maybe generate some interest in a class if you decide to teach it. And as a professional, it looks good on a resume. Right now I'm working on becoming an expert witness. Having the background of having multiple articles written in a professional journal definitely adds to the weight of me being an expert in the areas that I talk about. So those three layers are a great benefit put on by ILEETA for the members. And I'd strongly suggest anyone that's interested in writing to do so. And I know it's we've already talked to a few people this year who are writing the first time, who've been very nervous about writing. From what I've seen, their articles are out there. Their articles are looking good. And I think as often occurs, the fear is much greater than the reality.
Thanks, Duane. Writing for the journal is great. It's not just a professional publication. It's an international professional publication. So the audience is reaches far and wide. So the deadline for the next journal is September 10th. So we got some time. The journal just came out today, I believe, right, Joe? Today or yesterday?
Yesterday, but yesterday. It's kind of hitting the mainstream today.
So check your email box. Some phenomenal articles in there, and we would love, if you have it written for the journal, to reach out to any of us, and we will get you published.
Not just their email boxes. So go to ileeta.org/journal, and publicly available. The journal can be downloaded until July 1st, open to anyone. After that, the journal is a member benefit. I actually just recently, just finished my degree as well. And throughout the course of my degree, there were numerous times I went to the journal to get sources. And so quoted Dan Green, quoted Carrie Avery. So there's some great articles in there way back. And so those are available in the archive as well.
Absolutely. Just dig around in there. Great articles. You won't be disappointed. Let's talk about some recognition. Over the last few weeks, Correctional Officers Week, Police Week, Peace Officers Memorial Week, we've all took time to make sure that we reflected and remembered all those officers that have died in the line of duty. Correctional Officers Week, can't say enough about that. So, we would like to have some more correctional officers join in ILEETA. Anything to add on that, Joe?
No, just wanted to take a moment. They go by so fast, it seemed, right? And in such rapid succession. And so since our last ILEETA Live, I don't know that we, really stopped to kind of reflect at that moment. And I just wanted to take an extra moment tonight if we could, and just kind of, thank you to everybody out there who are continuing to serve and have throughout your careers. And so, yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks to everybody. Cheers to all you out there. Even lots of things going on in the world across the country today. And thanks for putting your life on the line and making some sacrifices, being away from your families. It's appreciated and it goes noticed. We appreciate it. Thank you all. I think now it's time that we're going to bring Coach on. Duane, Joe, you were down there talking to Coach. Anything that you want to say before we bring Coach on?
I'm actually going to turn it over to Duane completely. Thank you so much, Duane, for making that happen. I know Ray and I were there with you while you did it, but the reality is you pulled it all together. It was such an honor to be there, but thank you for doing it. And you've got a very special relationship with Coach. So over to you.
Well, first off, thanks to ILEETA for arranging and allowing that to occur. The backstory is a lot of people don't know is that we had Coach was expected to be at ILEETA this year. And then something came up on the medical side of things and things got changed. So that was a big disappointment for a lot of us. And then to have him attain the Legacy Award was absolutely amazing. And I'm very honored to receive that for him. And then to go down and actually get to present it to him and then sit down and talk with him. For those of you who don't know Coach, he has been a mentor to a great many people over the years, and he's been around in law enforcement since the 1960s and has continued to influence our profession throughout the years, even up until now. So to have an opportunity to sit down and talk with him, to have that conversation with him is something that most people don't get to do, but in this case, you get to hear Coach sitting in a very small setting, talking about his life, talking about his career, and sharing his wisdom, as well as talking about the trials in his life, the things that he's overcome. He retired at the rank of colonel for one of the parishes down in Louisiana. So he had a very successful career in spite of some of the problems that occurred with him earlier on in life. He overcame those and did very well in his profession and is internationally known as one of the top trainers in the country in law enforcement. So having that opportunity to sit down and talk with him was very special.
Thanks, Duane. Well, I think we're going to bring Coach on stage, and we'll be back behind stage listening to Coach's wisdom.
I said, hello, I'm Coach, and I'm here to talk about there is no me. There is no me. There is no me without you.
So, Coach, as an introduction to the people that don't know you, could you give us a little bit of a background of your travels through the law enforcement career?
Yeah, be glad to. Could I start off by saying something's laughable? I was born stupid and had a relapse. I became a police officer in the 1960s. Because of where I lived, I went with the New Orleans Police Department, and I had a good lieutenant, and the first thing I did was had something that doesn't even wholly exist today. I was given a walking beat. And the walking beat I was given, there were several, but one of the walking beats I was given was walking Bourbon Street and about the 400 block of Bourbon Street. And it was a good thing. There was nothing about crowd control. There is no crowd control. I mean, it's just a lot of people. But it was amazing how the people out there took care of their own. And eventually I left Bourbon Street, and I still don't know how it was today. Today I still don't know. But I wound up in the detective bureau, and I was given a choice. I took homicide, and it was good. Back in those days, there was something in law enforcement called the Brotherhood that was unbeatable. If you took one person, you got to take them all. And it was, I think one of the things that, as I look through the rearview mirror, and I laugh at this, other people didn't laugh at it, but I laughed at it because of what they said. But one of the things that got me in difficult times in law enforcement is I started advocating for women in law enforcement. Something I've always been honored to do is be an advocate for women. I was also an advocate of people of color in law enforcement. I mean, what the hell does it matter if I'm laying down bleeding? What do I care if the person trying to save my life is a person of color, a woman, or whatever? It's somebody save my life. Don't let me go. The whole idea of that era in my life had a happy ending. I got promoted. This is a grace of, don't misunderstand. I was not a super brilliant police officer. I was a hard-headed, narrow-vision person who had a focus on what I was told was the object of the day. What I found out was the real meaning of people in law enforcement that hold on to each other and never let go. And that's important for me.
So how long were you with New Orleans before you switched over to Jefferson Parish?
I think you went in 64.
Yeah.
And you went to Jefferson Parish in 68, or I don't know, something like that. I don't remember exactly.
Jefferson
But-
Parish, huh?
Yeah, you went to sheriff's office, but you left as a detective in NOPD, and then went to Jefferson Parish and headed up its detective bureau.
Yeah.
That's why they hired you, I believe.
The
That could be, it's not factual, I'm just, remember, we're 80 and we have memory problems. Besides, I wasn't married to him at the time, so I'm just going by what he told me.
The one thing I remember about law enforcement in my day was the unbreakable cohesiveness between brother officers. Now sister officers came eventually, but I remember I never walked alone. I mean, I just, they took me under their wing and they taught me. And they were demanding. You got a chance to learn, but they expected you to take the learning they gave you and break it out into reality, which was most probably what helped me in getting ready for ILEETA.
So, Coach, I know you got involved in judo at a young age.
I did.
Then you took that into your police career. When did you get into the training portion for law enforcement?
John Horman came to me and said, if you want to learn how to control people without hitting them. Now, understand, hitting did not mean just a slap in the face. You hit people. There used to be something there called a smack glove. It was black. It had sandbags in the front. You had I didn't have a PR-24 at that time. I had a Mr. I can't think of his name now. Made his own nightsticks. They were about this long.
Koga.
Yeah, and you had a knot here, string here. You twirl the nightsticks, and it was nice, big enough to where you could hold it in this hand and push off. Being a footman, a lot of the times everybody was around me, like every block. There might have been some police officers, but we didn't have radios. So a signal red was something that had to go another way. The people were your own defenders. Were they all good people? No, but there were a lot of great people out there. And I never wanted to get hit in the head with a beer bottle. But there were some violent times. I think one of the most, it turned out to be a humorous time, was the 108. At that time, it meant officer needs assistant. And Pat O'Brien's had a rule. There's certain songs you couldn't sing because they revved up people. And what they were doesn't matter. You were told you couldn't sing them. Well, sometimes people would sing them, and the first thing other people would do is stand up on a table all over the place, and right up here, within arm's reach, was a shillelagh. It's a big knobby stick. And there was a shillelagh, and people used to like to climb up there and whack each other, and we were outnumbered. I mean, there were like 4 to 6 of us and just a lot of people in there. So we figured out what happened. At that time, there were 2 brothers named Emmons. Rock was one of them, and I can't remember his brother's name, but they were mounted officers. And the surprise we had is that they were stationed down the block, and when we kicked in a 108, they would come through the alleyway into the Pat O'Brien's. Rock would stay over here, and he would turn his horse this way, and his brother would turn his horse this way. And all of a sudden, things became quiet. People couldn't get out, and that was a bad problem. But it stopped the violence. There's nothing scary or sissified about being hit in the head with a fifth of wild turkey on the head. It's a waste of alcohol. I mean, but it was just bad. But it was a good time, and finally we got law and order there. Now at this particular time, in the early '60s, there was no females that I could think of. They came later. And then, of course, I don't know if it was a legacy or what, but after you finish a certain amount of law enforcement, you were expected to assimilate to plain clothes. And I never assimilated. I loved the uniform. I loved the uniform. And I always loved helping people. Didn't believe in hurting people. I had to defend myself, but did not believe in hurting people.
So in your career, you served as a firearms instructor, a use of force instructor. You were a master instructor for Monadnock.
Yeah.
You taught for Team One.
Oh yeah.
You taught where at? I know all over the United States. Where else out of the country did you teach?
Well, to answer your question, before the onset of groups of people in law enforcement, you would get involved in inviting people into your agency. They wanted to come to New Orleans, they wanted to do this. And you would go out and walk the beat with them or whatever. Or if they didn't want to come to you, they want you to come to them. And I kind of wanted to always stay in New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans is a wonderful place. It's misunderstood. It's not the city that fear forgot. It's not. It's just that the cohesiveness, not just between officers, but between the public. I mean, my God, you were out there on Bourbon Street, and literally, if you look at the films, it's just so crowded, and none of these people want to hurt you. They're all there for you. I never forget. It just came to my mind. Last story, I guess. There was what I call a ooh wow. There was ooh wow, and I walked down, and there was a guy, a military guy, and he is getting ready to go overseas, and he is being affectionate with his lady. And everybody wanted to, ooh, wow. And all of a sudden this guy comes, hey, Coach, everybody back up. Come in.
Speaking up, no, yeah, you can just leave Bob's. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Is that the bartender? Is that the bartender?
Yeah, it's Rachel.
Whiskey on the rocks. I had my last drink at the FBI Academy, and it was at midnight. I did it at midnight, and I had a little bit left in a bottle of Jack Daniels, and I had my last drink there, and I haven't had another drink, I think, in many decades now, and as those of you here, I was getting to be quite an alcoholic at one time, and all of a sudden somebody in this room said, let me make you an offer you can't refuse. You like the way I cook? Yeah? You like the way I snuggle with you in bed? Stop drinking. Okay, that was the last time. It was it. It was all over. It's nothing to it. You make your deal, you can't refuse. I remember when I was walking the Appalachian trying to get to Maine, and a fella came along, and is there a mouse under my foot? No. No, I thought it was a mouse under my foot. I didn't know. In Wisconsin, and if I remember correctly, it gets cold up there, and I remember Mr. Klugowitz, Gary's father, used to come up, and one of the most favorite things he'd like to do is sit on a porch with his big coat on and sit in that rocking chair, and I'd be way down on the street. He never said, would you like to come on up the steps? And it was just a way, and he'd walk back and forth, and we used to talk. And I couldn't believe Gary used to like to go to this big ice cream place in Wisconsin, and it would be freezing cold, and he'd come out and say, Coach, I got some ice cream for you, and he'd hand me the cardboard thing with a spoon, and I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna go get the car. He stood right out there and ate ice cream. And I'm saying, there's sometimes I know I was born stupid, I had a relapse, and this is what happens when you have born stupid and a relapse. We're eating ice cream, and the wind is blowing, and I'm a whole boy from the south. I mean, I can't even imagine. I couldn't get into a New Orleans freezer and get as mad as that one. I mean, so I went and stood behind him, and he said, Coach. Gary always gets upset. Coach. He said, I said, I can't see you when you're standing behind me. Well, I'm sorry. Turn around. You're blocking the wind, man. You're blocking the wind. I mean, no hard feelings. I love you, Gary, but you're blocking the wind. I hate doing nothing, man. I mean, man. You know, that's one thing about being in Louisiana. It very seldom gets cold. I mean, you know, right now we got such
We got a cold spell today. It's
Huh?
not that cold out there.
It's
We came down from Wisconsin to see our,
We brought it with us.
yeah, I believe. Let me say one thing, and I'd like to just hear you all speak to me. Thank you very much for being my brothers in Christ Jesus, my brothers of the shield, my friends. Thank you for every thought, every blessing, every miracle that you continue to bring into my life. I said something earlier, and I'm not saying this in order to be invited, but if I would be invited to stand in front of a podium right now and say a few words, I know I could do it. I'm not sure I know how, but I want to make sure that you know, as long as you were there, like you are right now, I would most probably give the greatest lecture I ever gave because of you.
I think that's a good idea.
What is inside of me is you talking. I mean, you talk about people. Thank God they're friendly. I mean, thank God they're friendly. I mean, how would you like to meet this face coming out of the door with an, oh, hi! yeah. You know, who make you want to wet on yourself right now. You know. But I want to let you know that when you can remember from whence you came, referring to me, and then you remember the people in your life as you evolved, all of a sudden it takes those two Latin words, non solus, which means never alone, and it gives a meaning. About ILEETA, every once in a while I get the impression that I did an okay job, but I remember how I was so overwhelmingly appreciated, and that sustains me. But it's been so long since I've spoken, and one of the things that I learned at ILEETA and at the podium was every time I did the speaking, how much I learned from the people. I always knew, some people wanted to run me up the street about that, but I always had the remembrance of flag draped coffins, and I always wanted to give everything I could before the flag came out, even though that flag one day would be for me. I do not fear. Fear is an acronym, F-E-A-R, false expectations appearing real. That's what fear is. It's false expectation appearing real. And then when you have people in your life like you all right now, fear vanishes, because fear cannot live in the presence of greatness, goodness, and strength, which is what you epitomize. I do remember having the honor to teach, but I don't, every once in a while, I'm concerned that if I was invited to teach anywhere, I would be concerned as to whether I was capable. And then all of a sudden, the inner voice I have in me said, quit thinking that stupid, I'm right here. And so I know that if I got up, I'd say what I always said, oh, hello, I'm Coach Bob Lindsey, and I'm here today to speak to you about. And I remember sometimes there were a lot of people in that audience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm just grateful for that memory. I would thank you for this interview, and I would ask anyone that's looking at it not just to listen with your ears, but to listen with your heart and soul. It's the same thing any combat veteran would tell you. I came back. I'm still alive. I'm still here to help you. You're never alone. And I'm asking those of you that are looking at this, remember there's two words. You don't have to remember them, although I wish you would. The first word is non, N-O-N. It means never. The other one is solus, S-O-L-E-U-S, non-solus. Never alone. Stay with your brother and sisters in law enforcement. Stay with your brother and sisters that are there. When, not if. If is a nebulous word. You can remove if from your word dictionary. When you know it's time for you to be aware that you need help on anything. Duane's being nice. He's not asking me to tell you about when I needed help. So let me just give you a hint. I never want any of you to look at me less, but I fought to come back from which I came. I was very violent as a police officer. I developed a drinking problem as a police officer. I went through failed marriages as a police officer. I went to where members of my family held me at arm's length as a police officer. This profession is a great profession, but it requires you to first of all understand that when you decide to give of yourself to help other people, you've got to help yourself first. You've got to help yourself first. There's no shame in saying, I need help. These are the brothers right here that will help me. I'm never alone for the rest of my life. But you got to earn it. When you need help, don't let it get to the point of where it's too late to help you. It doesn't matter to me if it's infidelity at your home, if it's drinking booze or drinking dope or something like that. You got to stop all that, because that's not you. That's what wants to take over you. You know why it wants to take over you? Because you're great already. But get rid of the bad stuff. Get rid of it. And let me say one thing to you. I don't care if you run me up the street, although I would do it in long distance if I were you. And that is, always be true to who you really are to yourself. Don't lie to you. Don't lie to yourself. You all are wonderful, great people. It doesn't matter to me the color of your skin, your gender, anything. If you're in the shield, you're my brother and you're my sister in law enforcement and for the cause. And by God, even though I don't know you, and I don't want to pick on Duane Wolfe, but he's there. When you ever need anybody to stand up with you or for you, or to grab you by the neck and keep you from making a mistake, that'll stand in front of you and protect you, call me first. But don't call me unless you know I'm going to play a better game than I'm going to talk. You're important to me. I don't know if you're man, woman, black, white, yellow. It doesn't matter. You are my brothers and sisters of the shield. And I will stand with you. And if you don't believe it, ask a couple of people that were there. And then when you do believe it, find out a way to get in touch with me. I am not anybody but a human being. But I have one thing that has helped me. And my brother's here in the room. My brother Duane Wolfe will attest to this. You don't handle it alone. Allow yourself to get help. Don't take drugs. Don't overdo alcohol. Don't do anything that clouds your vision. That inner voice wants you to rely on it. No. Just be you. Be you. Help other people. Allow yourself to say, here I am. I've come to help you. It's what you've done all the time as a police officer. Why wouldn't you do it for yourself? Just help. Did I have problems with drugs? Yes. Did I have problems with alcohol? Absolutely. I'm a recovered alcoholic. Ooh. So what? I am Bob Lindsey. I am what I am. Accept me like I am or throw me away. But never give up on yourself. Never say, this is too much for me. Just sit down, take a deep breath, say a prayer. What is a prayer? Oh, that's when I talk to God. Yeah, wow. Why would I want to talk to God? Because He's your Father. Be true to yourself. Find these people that are behind the camera right now. Do you know how much they have helped me? Tremendously. I'm getting down later in years now. So I don't know how often I'm going to be able to travel or when or where, under what circumstances. But there's something that's there between you and me, if you want it. Call it a telephone. Have you ever heard of it? It's a telephone. It's what the back things he's always filming right now. Their telephones, but their cameras also. Wow. Woo. Hallelujah. I'm taking up too much of your time.
No.
I am. If I say you're my brother in Christ Jesus and my brother the shield, for the rest of your life, you are. That's it. That's the way it is, and it comes with a price on you. You know, when I get older and maybe don't remember as well or whatever, you just come by every once in a while and help me remember. When I talk to Duane on the phone, it's just the idea of somebody at the other end of the rope saying, look, I'm not going to pull you down. Just keep walking towards me. Getting older can be scary, but I refuse to be scared and afraid. The hand of the Lord my God is on my shoulder, and I'm in the presence of warriors here. I am in the presence of people that not only disseminate life-saving words, I'm in the presence of people that surround me that love me, that I love, that give me hope and understanding, because it is them from whence I came. I ask God to bless each and every one of you with strength and continued good health, serenity, peace, and happiness. But I ask God to also ask you to remember every day how important you are, not just to me, not just to me, but to people like me. It is wonderful to say, I walked the road, I spoke the word, true, but not without you all. If it wasn't for you all, there would be no me. And I'm grateful that I can still speak, but I'll promise you, I'll never forget from whence I came, and I promise you I'll never forget who you are and what you are to me. But any brother that is my brother, like you three are my brother, it's very simple. There's no time you can have a call that's not the right time. There's nothing you can ask that's not the right thing. When you need me, you call me.
When you need Coach, you call Coach. When Coach knows you are in need of his words of wisdom, he magically calls you. At least 4 times in my life, I had some speed bumps and challenges. Medical issues with my daughter. There's one person named Coach in my phone, and when that phone rings and it's Coach, I stop everything if I can, and I pick up the phone. There's no greater person, no greater friend than Coach. We all love you, Coach. Joe, Duane, thank you so much for bringing that video to our members. You're muted, Duane.
Of about was an hour and 45-minute conversation we had with him.
Yeah.
And then later on that night, when we presented him with his legacy award, they had arranged for about 60 people to come together, including someone who was one of his first partners. The person who arranged it was a member of the first academy class that Coach taught, and she was the first female on her department. So you take a look at the legacy of a man where people from many, many years ago from a first academy class will show up to be there to see him receive this award. It was absolutely amazing to be there, to be able to present it to him, and just to sit and listen to the stories of the people around us talking about Coach and how they knew him. What you didn't see in the video was Maggie and Coach together are a show unto themselves. That was you got to hear a little bit of Maggie, but the two of them together are quite entertaining and always leave you with a good laugh. They're quite the couple, and that's why they've been together for so many years.
Yeah, wow. I'm just, I watched that intently. I'm going to go probably before bed tonight and watch it again. There's so much to take away, many words of wisdom, things that hit home for me. But wow, this will be one of my bucket lists for ILEETA Live was to get Coach on here. And we did it. Thanks.
We did it. Yeah. It took a little bit of magic, and thank you, Duane, for making that happen. I can tell you, I was taken aback. I edited the video and was there when it was recorded, and just watching it now, I was still kind of rocked back on my heels throughout the whole thing. Just so powerful. And as Duane said, there was this special moment between Coach and Maggie, who also is Bobby Lindsey. I don't know if most people who know them know this. I didn't. Maybe I did. Maybe I'd heard it somewhere along the way, but I had forgotten. And we get to the house where they live and check in, and we kind of threw them off because we asked for almost. Luckily Ray spoke, because had it been me, or Duane spoke, had it been me, I probably would have asked for Coach, and just spontaneously. But we threw her off with the whole Maggie thing. And so anyway, there was this really special moment between the two of them while they were talking. Just the camera angle and the audio didn't turn out quite the way we would have wanted it to, but it tells a story of how they met. And for those of you that have heard it, it's quite a special story. But yeah, speechless the whole time.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, just an amazing man, and miss him dearly. Wish would have been able to get to one of the conferences, because I know there's so many people that have never had a chance to be in his classroom and listen to. I mean, I compare him to E.F. Hutton. When E.F. Hutton talks, everybody listens, and when Coach talks, everybody listens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ian, Little Joe, all you online, thanks for your comments and being interactive here. Want to change a little bit of direction here. We can talk about Coach all night, and but we want to add a new segment to the ILEETA Live, and this segment is going to be kind of an instructor development type segment. And Duane, Joe, and myself will give just a quick short tip on some things to be a better instructor. I mean, that's what ILEETA is about, is passing on some wisdom and being a better instructor. And those of you online, Ian, Little Joe, if you got something that you would like to add, go ahead and type in the comments. Anybody else that hasn't commented, what are some nuggets of wisdom for brand new instructors to the veteran instructors? And I'll start. Something that it came up today, and it has to deal with, I think we've all been there. You are an instructor, and your boss comes to you and hands you a lesson plan. Here, Brian, I know you never taught this class before, but you have this class, this 4-hour class that you need to teach an in-service, and you start here in about 20 minutes. So go forth and conquer. Who's been in that situation? I think we all have. And what's the right and wrong way to do this? We can discuss this, but what I tell people is we've heard those instructors walk into the room with the lesson plan, and they tell their class, hey guys, folks, this was just handed to me. I'm here to teach this class. I've never taught it before, and I'm going to be listening to this class for the first time, just like you guys. What did you just do as an instructor to the audience that's sitting in the room? You've already turned them off, and they're going to be shut down. They're going to a vacation in their mind on a beach, wherever, but they're not going to be present in your classroom. Take that opportunity to, maybe tell your students, take an extra 20-minute break, go over that lesson plan, look at it, look at the PowerPoint, walk in that classroom and teach that class like you taught it 100 times before. But don't tell your class this is your first time teaching it. Don't give them the opportunity to take that vacation. Make it interactive, make it engaging, make it fun. So that's my quick tip. Let's go over to Joe.
Yeah, I love that. Own it, right? And so I would say, for me, we had a quick conversation earlier about, what we were going to do this tonight, and I've had so many things bouncing around in my head, but I think the one I finally resonated on is that we have an obligation in that training environment to establish trust between us and the learner. And we haven't They haven't learned it until we've connected with them. And just because we teach it, just because we say it, doesn't mean it's going to transfer. And I think one of the things that I found works, and when I watch others do it and do it well, it means so much to me, is let silence and time do the heavy lifting. There's this moment as facilitators and trainers where we connect with that person through eye contact, through nonverbal communication. And when there's that moment where you feel compelled to speak, take a breath, let it sink in, let time own this space, and let silence do your heavy lifting. And it's amazing what happens between you and the learner.
Power of the pause.
Or the pause.
Duane, what's your tip for the members?
First off, I'm going to pause. No, to piggyback what Joe
And
said.
own it.
Yes, and own it. One of the key things is when you walk in the door as a beginning instructor, you do what you were taught to do. In other words, you teach probably the way you were taught. The key thing is, if the person that taught you didn't know the best way to teach, you may be already headed down the same path that you came. Understanding and taking the time, the energy to learn how people learn and take a look at the human factors when it comes to learning is absolutely critical to you being the most effective instructor that you can be. If I knew then, way back in the 1980s when I first started teaching people, what I knew now, well, let's just say things would have been a whole lot different and a lot better. But it took me a long time to learn how to do those things on my own through trial and error. And then finally going to some classes and learning how to better teach people. And what I would strongly suggest for every instructor, when you come to ILEETA, as we said before, don't focus on your area of interest. Get to the instructor development classes to learn how to present your material better. If you don't know the concepts of effort for retrieval, desirable difficulty, no cost, low cost quizzing, and a myriad of other terms, and you're not employing them on a regular basis, whether it's a short class at ILEETA or a short class that you're teaching, then you're not getting, your students aren't getting the best bang for your buck, and you're not getting the best delivery method for them. I mean, there's so many little things that come into play. As an instructor, I can look back and see mistakes that I made, and in essence cause training scars because of my lack of understanding of how people learn versus my expectations, because I stood at the front of the class and I said words, and because I did that, you should know what I'm talking about. It doesn't work that way. There's a better way to do it. We also have to have realistic expectations of what our students can do. And we need to take those expectations and tweak them so that we learn better based on how we present the material.
Love it.
Outstanding. Thanks, Duane. Thanks, Joe. Want to move on to our final segment. We've had a jam-packed hour of some wonderful wisdom, some funny events that Coach brought up, and some serious things that it's always never know what's going to happen on ILEETA Live. But the upcoming events and deadlines that we have, the proposals, the window has been opened. Opened up on the 1st of June. I almost said July, 1st of June. Hey, get those proposals in. On July 1st, registration for 2026 conference opens up. And the ILEETA Journal articles, the due date for the next ILEETA Journal is September 10th. October 31st, every year on Halloween, is when those administrators at ILEETA just sit there and scratch their head on which presenters will be selected. So October 31st, they will be selected, and everybody should know by the Marine Corps birthday, which is November 10th. And December 10th, the first draft of the schedule should come out. The first draft of probably many, right, Joe?
Oh, many. Yeah. But the goal is December 10th.
And ILEETA 2026, the 16th through the 21st of March. It'll be here before you know it. And get those proposals in. We're looking forward to hearing and watching some new instructors. We're looking forward to reading some articles from newer authors from the ILEETA Journal. And it's been a fun night, but I want to go. I know we're right at an hour, but I want to go around the horn. Duane, any parting words of wisdom for the ILEETA members?
Non-solus, brothers and sisters, non-solus.
Non-solus. Thank you, Duane. Joe?
I was actually going to quote Coach as well. And just it was a solid reminder to me when he said it. It was very powerful. And I think it's something I'm going to carry with me is without you, there is no me. And I think looking at the people around me, since I heard him say that, once again, I've heard him say it before, but it was a reminder that without you, there's no me, and you're important.
He said that many times, and Coach, like I said, is a powerful person. And I've said this many times on ILEETA Live here and at ILEETA conferences, but this is much more than an organization. This is a family. When somebody takes time out to make a phone call, no idea, no clues, something is wrong out of the blue, he just calls. Well, he knew something was wrong. He just calls out of the blue. That's a brother in blue, a sister in blue, an uncle in blue, a father or a mother figure. This whole organization, ILEETA, is much more than just coming together and learning. It's connecting and making those relationships, lasting relationships. So for those of you that know a lot of instructors out there that aren't members, encourage them to join. Give them a ILEETA website and maybe just print out a membership application and say, here, fill this out and we'll get you on board with ILEETA. So let's get some more members, get them to join and grow our family. So with that, I have nothing else. One last time, Joe, Duane, anything? All right.
Thank
So
you.
thank you all for joining us tonight. We had a wonderful night, great conversation with Coach. So Joe, Duane, thank you all. And all you all, have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your night.
Good night.
Good night.